If somebody does go over to their register and they're not feeling warm air, what do you recommend that they maybe check out? All right. Hey, Dad.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. It's cold outside.
It's cold outside. Did you see the football game last night?
I saw the first half. It was way too late. I was on a different time zone. We wanted to talk because in our neck of the woods in the Kansas City area, we're going through some pretty extreme cold weather right now, dangerously cold
Right.
weather. So I just wanted to see if you had any tips that you would want to tell homeowners about how to make sure that their furnace or heat pump or whatever they're using for heat is
Yeah.
operating efficiently, safely, all these things.
And understand it is bitter cold here in Kansas City. I don't know if we're going to hit zero today. Highly unusual. It never gets
Warm.
this,
That'd be the warmest part of the
there's
day.
this many times I've ever experienced that, but it happens from time to time. Understand we're dealing with incredibly unusual criteria here today. Design temperatures, when we size furnaces and air conditioners for people's homes, it's a zero. 0 degrees on a 0 degree day. We factor in all the parameters of your house and how warm you want to be. On a 0 degree day, this is how much heat we need to put in this house to keep it warm. Well, it's 10 below. It's 10 degrees colder than that outside. Anyway, whatever those parameters are, we are at its max. And, I'm glad you called because there's some very definite tips I want to give people when you're faced with these kinds of situations. And one is, a lot of times people will allow their thermostat to set back at night. They like to sleep cooler, or there's no sense in heating this entire house when everybody's asleep. Well, you don't want to do that when the weather is like this. If you really think about it, here we are, we're at design conditions or even colder than design conditions, and we're allowing our house to cool off. And now in the morning, we want it to warm up real quick. Well, we're at max capacity.
Already. Right.
It's already going to be running all the time just to maintain, so let's not let the house cool off. So, at least the main part of my house, I kept the thermostat on its normal temperature. And when I got up this morning, it was actually 2 degrees cooler than what the thermostat temperature setting was.
So it
and the
wasn't
heat
even
was
keeping up.
it wasn't keeping up. Now, it was close. It was still warm. It was 70 degrees still in here, but those are the kinds of things you can experience. The other thing is, so here we are, we're at design conditions, really stressed out. Every house on the block is at design conditions. Every gas furnace, every water heater is firing, and that can affect inlet gas pressure to our home. Just simply a wide open demand like that can lower the output of our furnace. If we can't get as much gas as what we'd like to get to it, it can affect that. So those two things coupled, everything's maxed out, running to the max, running to the limit. Sometimes it can get behind, your furnace can get behind. What I recommend to people, if you go to your register and it feels warm, it's not cold, it's heating, it's doing something, odds are you're okay. Even though your thermostat may say that, gee, the room temperature is a little cooler than what it ought to be, or you're feeling that it's a little cooler. If your system is producing heat, it's doing what it can. And don't concern yourself. It will catch up. It'll catch up.
Yeah, the outdoor temperature is just so extremely cold that we created these systems so that it would keep the temperature at zero. We're at negative 10. So it might not keep up to where it normally would be.
Yeah. Negative 10 is a condition that we rarely ever hit. And we don't want to size our furnace for something that rarely happens. Otherwise, we've got too big of a furnace, and that sets off a whole nother set of problems, to it. The other thing is, you mentioned heat pumps. Heat pumps are a little different and in how they heat our home. And I have a heat pump in my home. I have gas furnace with a heat pump. I am manually turning my thermostat to emergency heat, meaning when you put it in that emergency heat button, and we've talked about this a number of times, in the emergency heat position, we are turning off the heat pump outside. We're just turning it off and turning on our supplemental heat, which could be, in my case, a gas furnace. It could be an electric furnace. The reason I do that is the heating performance is going to be extremely low on a day like today with my heat pump. And so I might as well just surrender that. I'm just going to surrender and be more comfortable by having my supplemental heat on, my gas furnace or my electric furnace. The heat pump is really going to be struggling on a day like today. Whereas my electric furnace should be sized for that design condition,
right.
you know.
This is why you have your supplemental heat.
That's why we have a supplemental heat, yes.
Right. And now that's to keep everything running as good as it can. If somebody does go over to their register and they're not feeling warm air, what do you recommend that they maybe check out?
The first thing I would do, if you go to the register and it's not warm air, it's either not blowing at all or it's blowing cold air. Let's go down if we can to where the furnace is at. Here it would be in my basement. Just with my hand, touch a few things, touch the cabinet. Does it feel like it's been warm? Has it been firing? There will be a flue pipe on it. Mine is a PVC pipe that you can feel that, I can feel warmth. I know that it's been operating, but if it's stone cold.
Because it might be really hot, right?
Yeah, if it's a metal pipe, do this very slowly,
Yes.
Use precaution. But basically, I'm wanting to go down and just take inventory of what's going on. If you are suspecting a problem, like, no, everything is stone cold, the first thing I'd want to do is just turn the power off to the furnace. It could be that little light switch that you see on the side of the furnace, or you could even just go to the thermostat and flip it into the off position, let it sit like that for about 5 minutes, and turn it back on again. Many times, if there's a reset problem or something, you can reset it that way, much like your computer or anything else you're having trouble with. Turn it off and it will reset. It'll go back to its norm settings, and many times it can correct itself. So that'd be the first thing, really the main thing that you can do on your own, but if you're heating it all, don't worry, you're okay, but don't let the thermostat set back tonight. The other thing is please open your cabinet doors, your plumbing, your cabinet doors. It's amazing how cool the inside of your cabinet can get, especially if it's on an outside wall like many kitchen cabinets are. If it's on an outside wall, you want to open up those cabinet doors and let the warm air of the room get inside that cabinet there. Keeps things from freezing. That cabinet can get so cold inside there that you can actually freeze your drain or freeze your inlet water. And it's simply because the cabinet doors are closed, and it's in a warm kitchen, but the doors are closed, and it can get that cold inside the cabinet.
I remember you telling me once before, but I forgot the specifics, that if people are getting snow built up and they have like a 90% furnace, do they need to check the outside to make sure?
Yeah, very good.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You typically have two pipes out. One is sucking air in. It's bringing air in from the outside. And yes, in extreme conditions like we are today, I see drifting on the side of my house. You want to make sure that drifting is cleared away from either one of those pipes outside.
Because if it's blocking it, what kind of symptoms might they be experiencing if something is
it will be short cycling your furnace. It can't allow either one of those pipes to get obstructed. So either one of them, it is going to turn the furnace off, and that can set you behind as well.
That's only if somebody has a 90% furnace.
Right. Great. The 80% efficient furnaces, they're going to be venting up through the roof.
Good tips.
Okay?
Thanks, Dad.
Very good. Stay warm. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Bye.